All right, we are going to go through the lunar nodes for 2026. So the lunar nodes are the North and South node, also known as Rahu and Ketu. I've made a whole video about the nodes that I'll link in the description. But for a quick reference, Rahu is the head of the dragon that has no body and tail, and Ketu is the body and tail that has no head. And so Rahu wants to consume everything in sight, but it has no body to digest the things that it's consuming. So it can be very impulsive and obsessive and just like taking everything in. And then Rahu is a body with no head, and so feels very uncomfortable and out of place. Because if you had a body with no head, you would also feel very comfortable and out of place. And Rahu is the area of our lives that we want to avoid. And so, or Ketu is the area of our lives that we want to avoid. So Rahu's over here, it's the area of our life where we want to just like consume and take everything in. And then we have Ketu over here being like, I want to avoid this thing. And so when we are looking at the nodes on a global level, we're looking at where area we are consuming and obsessing over, and then what area we are ignoring and sick of and just tired of those things. And in your personal life, we would look at what house that's happening in and what area of your life you might feel like you're being very obsessive over, and what area of your life that you need to, or you're trying to avoid. And oftentimes, we're trying to get the head back onto the body. And oftentimes, in order to get Rahu back to Ketu, we need to do like the Ketu thing, the thing that we're avoiding. And so we'll kind of talk about that a little bit from the perspective of Leo and Aquarius. But you could go deeper and look at what house Leo and Aquarius are in your chart and then understand that deeper. So let's start with Rahu being in Aquarius. So Aquarius is where we focus on the public and the people and like what's good for everybody. And Leo is where we are focused on kings, government, and the people in power. And with Ketu here, it means like we're tired of the government, we're tired of these people, we're just sick of all of even like the famous people, the glam. It's just tired. And the focus is on the public, it's on the people, and it's time for the people to fight for justice or whatever their qualms are with the government. And so that's what on a global level, that's like the vibe that's happening right now. And then on your own personal life, it can be kind of like where you need to let go of your ego, because Leo can be kind of like the ego. The sun rules Leo, and the sun really is kind of like our Atman, which is the part of us that, it's the part of us that like holds, it's the glue that holds the body and the soul together. And it's like what we came in this life to accomplish. And so we can really look at Leo as where our ego is holding us back. And Ketu's like, I don't want to look at my ego. I don't want to look at this thing. And again, with Rahu and Aquarius, it's like Aquarius can be kind of the martyr. Like, I just give to everybody and then feel bad for me because I give to everybody type vibe. And so, with Rahu here, it's like victimization. And I feel like I can't do what I need to do, and it's all the fault of the government and these people who have power, or whatever you want to blame. But basically, in order for us to really like understand this victimization thing that we do, we need to actually look at our ego. And we can think that being a martyr means that we don't have an ego, but that's not true. It actually means we have a big ego that we need to let go of. And it's fine. The reason that this happened is because you're just trying to protect yourself. Like, that's great. We can thank the ego for trying to protect us and keep us safe. And it can be really hard to like put ourselves out there. We don't want to be rejected or have people not like us. And we're always going to have people reject us and not like us. And like, we have to move past that. And if we're worried about that, that means we're worried about what people think about us, which was really pretty egoic. And so this is that balance between the ego and the martyr. And we find that we need to first serve ourselves. The king or queen is us. We're the goddess or god of ourselves. And we have to first give to ourselves in order for us to give to others. And we want to find that healthy balance. So that's kind of just a nutshell of the vibe there. So let's go to the actual dates that all of this is happening. So the Rahu eclipse season will be from February 10th until March 15th. And the solar eclipse will be on the 17th of February. And this is going to happen in the nakshatra of Dhanishta. And Dhanishta is where we have the beating of the drum. And Dhanishta actually starts in Capricorn. So part of Dhanishta is in Capricorn. The other part is in Aquarius. And Dhanishta is the beginning of the Kundalini energy. And it's all about like that beating of the drum. And it really shows how we want to grow our Kundalini energy very like slowly, like the slow, steady beat of a drum. And that's really what Capricorn energy is. And it's like that lock-in energy. Like, it's time to lock in. And I said that Rahu kind of projects the future. And so it's showing us like, this is time, it's time to lock in, whatever that means for you. And we want to just keep going with that slow, steady beat of Dhanishta. And that's how we raise the Kundalini energy. We don't try to force anything. We just allow the slow, steady beat. And then the lunar eclipse will happen on March 3rd in Leo in the nakshatra of Purva Falguni. And so Purva Falguni is the second nakshatra in Leo. And this is where we're discovering our pleasures, and this is where we'll like meet our soulmate. And so if this is happening in like your 7th house, this could be a sign that you might meet your soulmate at this time, but it could mean a lot of different things. But ultimately, it's gonna be us looking at, because it's K2. It's also looking at the future, but it's K2, and K2 is the things we're avoiding. And so, and I said before, we want to do like maybe the K2 things in order to bring the head back to the body. And so this is pleasure. And for some of us, maybe we're indulging too much in pleasures that aren't really that good for us. And then for other of us, or maybe we're both, most of the time we're both. But for others of us, we might not be taking good care of ourselves and taking time for our own pleasure and making sure that we do good things for ourselves and that we bring in our own pleasure into our lives. And so for many women, we are going around and we're giving to everyone else, which is that Aquarius energy of the martyr. And we are not taking care of ourselves first. And so this is an area where, as women, we can focus on what are the pleasures that we're trying to bring into our life that actually make us feel good. And then what are some of the pleasures that we're releasing that aren't serving us as well. And so this is a really good way you could sit and journal about some of these things. And it's a good time to put the focus on your own self pleasure first. And if you can take care of yourself, then you're going to be able to go out and serve everyone better. And so like you're your own god or goddess that you're taking care of. And then let's look at the Ketu eclipse. So this happens on August 4th until September 9th. And the solar eclipse will be on August 12th in Cancer in Aslacia. And Aslacia is a harsh nakshatra. It's where we get the poison. It's like where we discover the Kundalini energy, which can end up being like the poison that heals us. And I think it's kind of similar to like the hair of the dog, like you take a little bit of the poison and then it cures you. And in this instance, we're talking about like an experience perhaps that was really hard and challenging and difficult, but because you had this experience, you were able to go through like a whole transformation. And with this being where the solar eclipse is happening, so this means that the sun's with Ketu, and Ketu is like that thing that we avoid, and it's what we need to release. It's being able to release this like hold maybe on that victimization of that challenging experience, and to instead allow for the growth and the healing nectar to come in from the poison. And there's always, even in the most challenging, worst possible things you can think of, there's always an area of like opposite equal amount of love and growth that can happen. And it doesn't mean anything's good or bad, or we want to like label the experience in any specific way. It's just that when something's happened already and you can't change it, you can't undo the thing, it's what we do with it after that helps us grow and evolve and become and define who we are. And so allowing that process to become something that's more healing for you, and letting go of maybe any of that victim mentality that's holding you back from growing and evolving from that experience. And then we're going to have the lunar eclipse on August 27th in Aquarius in Shatubishak. And Shatubishak is, okay, it's just thinking about something. So Shatubishak is where we are. So I told you before, Dhanishta was the beginning of the Kundalini energy. So Aslacia is where we discover the Kundalini energy. And Dhanishta is where we start to grow that Kundalini energy. And then in Shatubishak, we are creating the fertile soil for the Kundalini energy to come all the way up the spine and into the crown. And so we are working the turning that soil every day. So this is where we take that slow, steady beat of the drum, and we're really actually like creating a fertile soil for it to continue forward. And this, a lot of the times, is considered the energy or the essence in the air that creates the lightning strike. And the lightning strike is the glimpse of enlightenment. So this is when you've felt this experience before where you're like meditating and you just have this like moment where you like merge with everything. It's like I'm in complete samadhi, and then like as soon as you realize you're in the space, you're like back and you're in your head and it's gone. And the lightning strike is that little tiny glimpse that we get sometimes of that place where we merge with everything, absorb into the infinite, and then it's gone. And so this is the energy that comes right before that lightning strikes or that glimpse comes in. And because it's we're working with Ketu energy right now because the sun's with Ketu. This is where we need to let go. We need to let go of the feeling and the need of being perfect or growing too quickly or having to know everything. And we need to be more in the moment and able to connect with everybody and not think that like we're better than anyone else, or that whole ego thing that Leo represents. We're like coming into the place where we're letting go of the ego and also that victim mentality too. And we're merging into that space where, you know, we're creating that energy where we have the awareness that we're all connected and that no one's better than anybody else. And then the nodes will move into Capricorn and Cancer on November 25th. So the nodes will spend most of the year in this like Aquarius, Leo, where we're really working through our ego and then that victim mentality and finding the balance between the two. And I'll go deeper into each of these eclipses when they actually happen. And then I will even talk about the November transition into Capricorn and Cancer. So we can go much deeper into all of this, but this is just kind of a start to think a little bit about the nodes in your own life. This is where we often find the most disruption. And so it's nice to know where Rahu and Ketu are at in your chart, because Rahu's going to show what area in your life you might be obsessing about, and Ketu's going to show where you're avoiding. And a lot of the times, in order to solve this like thing that's happening in your chart in Rahu, you can resolve the issue by looking at where Ketu is at in your chart and really working with that energy. And so it's nice to know where they're at, and then you can kind of allow yourself to, rather than letting that area be so disruptive, you can kind of allow yourself to work with the energy by maybe trying to pull that head a little bit closer to the body. And so that is my rundown of Rahu and Ketu, and I will also link my short video below that goes into the whole mythology of Rahu and Ketu if you're curious. It's one of my favorite areas of charts to look at for people, and I hope that you like it too.